Jiahui had to come through the previous round. He beat Pang Shenzhou 6-4. Well, Neil, we were privileged to be in the arena at the Crucible to watch an astonishing final, and he thoroughly did.
I felt a lot of the seeded players got through. There were not many shocks early. And some of the matches involving Yize were quite spectacular. He's champion of the world. It could have been a game. Since then, thinking about all the players on show this afternoon, well, certainly 3 of them arena tonight have really playing a massive part in the future of the game.
The World Championship for him. No more qualifiers to go to.
Yeah, I mean, I still go back to what Joe Johnson said. Yes, the game has changed, and happy birthday, by the way, to Joe.
Birthday to Joe. He'll be with us for the China Open.
On the table for the last couple of months to play a match anyway. I'm sure he's practiced hard.
Well, I still remember that red he potted to the middle to get in the deciders. He made 85 to kill it off without any stumbling.
14.
Yeah, I mean, there might have been more spectacular shots, but in context, that was right up there with any shot you'll ever see, I think. You can expect a very interesting game of snooker because his opponent, Jiahui, is not quite gone on to do what we expected, but he's very attacking also. We'll need a second invitation here to play into the bunch of reds at the earliest possible opportunity.
Well, because that was the first red that we saw again.
It wasn't a very easy shot, queuing awkwardly, but he made it look nothing like it was a simple shot. Hard to argue with what he achieved. You know, he had the win over Mark Selby, a consummate match player. I think he frustrated Selby quite a lot in that match, because it's worth saying Selby started with 2 immaculate total clearances to win the first 2. Although that was in round 2 of the championship, and then the point he got to the semi-finals, the epic against Mark Allen, who I have to say played some of the best match snooker I've seen at the Crucible, but still came out second best against Yize. Dramatic stuff all the way. And then the final itself, down to the last frame. So I think he proved that he's got all of the determination and mettle you need, and a lot of flair. I would say that right now, certainly on last year, he is the best long potter in the sport at this stage. There's a few others that might be candidates, but he's at long range, he's quite breathtaking at times.
52.
There is a red that might go. He might not need to open the bunch here. The red at the top might go to the right corner. Don't know if he can get to it. He obviously thinks not. Beautiful shot. Plenty of fizz on that cue ball.
It's fair to say he's not looking rusty after 3 months since the World Final. This is electrifying stuff. The frightening thing is as well, he's still only 22. So he could get better and better. Challenging for the world #1 spot. Again, Shanghai not carrying ranking points, but as the season goes on, he'll have a chance for that.
The World Championship's a long way off, but just, I suppose, to be elevated to the very next level of the game, the two players in the action tonight, Jiahui and Yize, will want to become multiple world champions, which kind of takes them on to the next level. It's not as easy to do as what you think. Anyway, he's missed that one.
Yize 60.
Surprisingly, given what he'd potted up until then.
Yeah, the frame looked done. It would have been had he potted the next red. Still 75 on though. Seems a bit bemused by it himself. Just that one semi-awkward red on the left-hand side.
One.
All of a sudden, the chances appeared from nowhere for Jiahui. Slightly the forgotten man, as you say. His ranking is hanging on to a top 16 spot at this stage. But he's another young player with a big future.
8.
It just feels that 3 years ago he was more of a threat perhaps than he has been since.
9.
He can take just about any colour within reason.
16.
He's not short of points here. If he's going to clear up, he doesn't have to stay on high value. Now, has he moved the other red out? No, but I think that might be in his plans. He could move that left-hand red off of a red. It's a pretty decent opportunity, though, to steal a frame.
Two.
So his sights are set on that red underneath his chin right now. What's he going to do? He's going to move it here. It's a risk. He's going to try.
Jiahui 23.
I suppose the concentration is divided between the pot and the cannon. I think it's worth a try, but it's half a pocket. Not a full pocket by any means, but it was absolutely swallowed up, wasn't it?
Should be his frame. He did, of course, break down initially himself, but 3 snookers needed as it stands this red, and Yize will be off and running. Just such an exciting player, and people I think now know his backstory. You know, he wasn't born into wealth, far from it. Spoke so well about his parents and how they'd supported him
14.
after winning at Sheffield. Bit early to start talking about the Crucible curse. We'll let him off that for a couple of months, but it'll soon come round, all that chat.
19. Yize,
So he didn't kill the frame off up here in the Shanghai Masters. This is the last evening of the last 16. For what it's worth, the 6 players who've got through to the quarterfinals so far have all been the top seeds. The top 8 seeded through to the last 16 have all won their matches. So will that pattern continue? Wu Yize and Jiahui Tong will need to win in that case.
Just going for the cut here. The cue ball's a little bit in the lap of the gods. It could hit a bolt colour. You mentioned the seeds all getting through. Of course, at the Crucible, all of the seeds got through except Jiahui. And he lost to Hossein Vafai, which felt a bit of a 50-50 game anyway. But it was a championship where we thought there would be shocks, but in early rounds it was not like that at all. All of the qualifiers who we all felt would be coming there in form went out. In itself, that was a bit of a shock, wasn't it? There were no casualties in the early rounds apart from the man at the table. I think one thing we can say about the last 2 Chinese world champions is that the brand of snooker they play, I mean, they're very different players actually, but they're both superb to watch. There's no suggestion that they are manufactured players or players that lack talent. There's an example of that. What a shot.
Yeah, I mean, we had the perfect view of that, didn't we? Like you said earlier, there's no one now more reliable, really, those shots than Wu Yize.
I made the point to Phil Yates at the championship. We were working with Phil and saying that Wu Yize seems to like dead straight shots, whereas a lot of players actually prefer to put the ball at an angle if they could. Dead straight shots are not everyone's cup of tea, but Wu Yize seems to just love the ball. Absolutely ramrod straight. And there was one that he knocked in just now like that. It's a real examination of your cue action when the balls are in line.
16.
Well, I mean, to top this through the bunch would take an awful lot of cue power. He might not want to play that. He's almost stunned off the side of the bunch. It's quite an intelligent shot, knowing that he had 2 colours in the middle of the table to play on. Nothing wrong with where he's finished. He might prefer not to play the pink if he could, because that means that the red top left of the bunch is still available, whereas if the pink was potted, it wouldn't be.
One. 22. 27. 28.
Yes, that was the red I was speaking about, that he didn't want to take the pink. Otherwise it would have been blocked off, but now that he has moved it, and just nice 2 reds open, it's another wonderful chance. Missed 1 black, which was very much surprising. Otherwise he looks sharp.
34. 35. 42. 43.
The other thing about Yize, he's got a wonderful strut around the table, isn't he? Like, as if he was born to play on these big stages. Nothing timid about him.
No, we saw that, didn't we, a couple of years ago in that English Open final against Neil Robertson. He was 7-1 down coming out, evening session. I think everyone expected an early night, and he absolutely threw his cue at them, and they started going in and really had Neil Robertson under it. Just about got home 9-7, but very, very impressive.
Not much margin for error there. I think he's able to just hold for that bottom red from the shot he had on the black.
50.
Again, that'll just open up 1 or 2 other reds, you feel, as well. Certainly a red 2 right middle that didn't go before the previous shot.
Fifty-eight. 59.
Just a bit underpaced for the blue. He wanted to be the other side of it, of course, and now he's at that point where he needs another red, and we're almost where we were at in frame 1. Jiahui did get a chance to steal it, but he didn't manage it. It's interesting to know which red he can play on here. I don't know if the 4 reds in the middle of the table are tied up. Certainly for most positions, the right-hand red, you do well to get behind that. Seemed unlikely, didn't it, to get on a ball there? And he hasn't even got a shot at that right-hand red now.
64.
There might have been a time, you know, going back a few years, where a match player, a different era perhaps, would have not even gone for that blue, put it on the side cushion, played him behind the yellow. I'm not saying it's the right shot, but it's a shot many people would have played there, just to secure the frame. It's hard to argue with his shot selection, isn't it?
Well, similar in a way to frame one. He did miss, of course, in frame one. In this frame, he just didn't get position. But a couple of 60 breaks, and it's going to be 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, it's very early in the match, in the season, all of those things. But I like what I see. I like the confidence which he still has. Maybe
7.
he'll feel even more confident this season now he is world champion. Who knows? I mean, you do feel that rather chillingly for other players. I say this about Jiahui as well, that maybe the best is still to come from him.
Well, it feels like that's becoming the rivalry now at the top of the game. The last two world champions, two young men from China, different types of players, both very, very talented. We'll see. It doesn't always work out that way. There's so many players, of course, capable of winning tournaments, but it'll be a narrative to follow, I think, this season.
22.
They could play here in the final. They're in opposite halves. Jiahui and Yize.
29. Yize, 29.
Well, it's a sharp start for sure. Unable to get in yet.
Well, at least he got the cue ball right, which means, in fact, he's given Yize a slight problem here. The red up in bolt, which he can't access. Could play it off the cushion to move it down the table, but it's not a very appetizing shot he's faced with. Often you play a safety shot back to bolt, but with the red there, of course, that's not happening. Well, it's not terrible, but I don't think it's quite how Yize meant it.
Long potting has always been a strength. We saw that, of course, in that World Championship 2023.
He's certainly become something of this forgotten man in snooker,
6.
I think, because we were all raving about him, as I mentioned, in that World semi-final when Luca Brazil was way behind him, 9 frames behind. Looked the next big deal, but it hasn't quite materialised.
Yeah, I think maybe his tactical game isn't as advanced as some of the other top players. I mean, would Yize beat Mark Selby over 3 sessions? Would Serge Jiahui have managed that? Possibly not.
Well, he nearly had to play him over 4 sessions, didn't he, in that final? I mean, who knows what would have happened, but my hunch is that he might not have had quite the same result as Luca Brazil managed. Who knows? Well, we will never, of course, never know. He was playing great snooker that year, Serge Jiahui. Just wonder if Selby might might have picked up another world title had they met, which seemed very, very likely.
Foul enemies, Jiahui 4.
There's a lot of matches in snooker that we think we know might have won them, but since they never happened, we will never be that sure. I think he's asked him to play it from where the balls have landed. So even thinner contact from here. It's hard to see an edge of any of the reds in the bunch, but is there a plant in there? I think he's looking at a couple of reds, but he might have to hit a first red onto them. It might be a 3-ball plant he's looking at here. It's a big shot. I don't know what's happened, but I don't think it's finished. It looked as if the last we saw of it, there was going to be a footnote to all this. They can get through to the green. I don't think it was a 3-ball plant, but it all happened a little quickly. A lot of things moved. Now they can get to the green anyway, so I suspect with safety in mind rather than the pot.
Yize 1.
He's not did very nicely on this brown. Of course, he could play it in behind it, but I'm sure he doesn't want to do that unless he feels there's no alternative. I think that's where he's at. Seems to be a good snooker, though. I don't suppose the game has changed, really. I mean, if you don't fancy a pot, you have to play safe. But it seems that the percentages have changed, where players now fancy more pots than ever.
One thing Jiahui did do in the Championship League is he made a maximum break. Of course, we've had 5 so far this season. That was his second.
Not sure exactly which red Yize tried to hit, but I tell you, he's not done badly out of that. because he was heading for danger whichever way he played it, but seemingly nothing goes. Caught it much too thin. Again, I don't think he's left anything particularly easy. He pots these Sergio away, but he's not had a lot of table time.
One.
He struck it beautifully, but again, he's landed sort of in between the 2 or 3 different shots. He's going to have to go on the attack this time, take the brown on, whereas he refused it earlier. I think his game is going to have to change to keep up with everyone else. Sergio Way, he may drop out the 16. He also could put that right very quickly if he had a deep run in an event. But he's mostly all-out attack. And I suppose it's a question of how quickly he becomes a different sort of player. You never want to take away anyone's attacking intent, but when he isn't playing well, he doesn't win all that many matches, put it that way. Very awkward queuing from there, that really is. For a right-handed player, that's an awkward place to finish, especially if you're trying to pot the black. The rest won't be easy either. Can he get the rest in the place he wants to? It's going to fall into the middle pocket. This does not look much fun, this shot.
Jiahui 6.
It's almost a blind spot, isn't it, for a right-hander, where he was trying to pot the black from.
That little implement, didn't they, in the 80s? Steve Davis had it, the little sort of plastic extension to the rest you put on. Might have been handy there.
I had one in my case for 20 years. I never used it once. But
that might be why it didn't catch on.
Well, that would have been a good time to have used it there. It used to sit there year after year, never got used.
Four. 5.
Well, that plant he took on earlier, it did not sort of balls everywhere and balls on cushions, but even so, it's some sort of chance here. He certainly got Sergio Way under pressure, just the way he started this match. And of course, whenever you play with Yize in that, it's going to be a big occasion. He'll be on, centre stage in all the tournaments, as he should be.
11. 12.
Yes, it'll be a bit of a clamour for the show table at a lot of these multi-table formats, I think. You know, with Trump, O'Sullivan, and
18.
the last two world champions all, no doubt, playing in the majority of them. I know Ronnie doesn't play everything, but
19.
there'll be a few players on tables they're not quite used to, away from the spotlight, I think.
I remember a few years ago, Judd Trump, there was one tournament he had to go on table 2 and he almost needed a map to find it because he'd been sort of camped out, quite rightly, on the main table.
25. 26.
Yes, I remember Ronnie playing at the Temperature one year on a table which wasn't the show table, one of those side tables, and everyone said, well, he's not going to enjoy it on there because it's a different setup, the lighting's different. Played marvellously, won 5-0 in about an hour. Didn't make any difference to him. That's a great shot. It's a great shot. It's exactly how he played it, to move one red.
32. 33.
Now, is he going to try and nudge one of the other two reds into play here? That's what he's tried. Has one red covered the other? A little bit of doubt on that shot, how that was going to work out in his favour. Could be end of break.
Yize 39.
I think you feel that Jiahui not only needs to win this frame, but he needs something to go his way. Just a couple of little shots could have gone better for him than they have. It goes without saying that he needs to get a frame won fairly early in this match before it all becomes a one-way traffic. Cue ball heading close to the right corner here. Managed to land on that red to left corner. It is a chance, but you feel that it's a tricky opportunity, especially with the black away from there.
Jiahui 6.
They could have really done with something there, more so than what is achieved. Winning this frame, I think, was quite crucial. But appears he might not now.
One.
The only glimmer of hope for Jiahui is that Yize will need both of the remaining reds. Can't win the frame without potting them both. The only thing I will say is he might not need a colour with the second of those two reds, the red on the cushion on the left. And that will make it a little easier for him. That is not a very good shot. There's a strong argument to play safe here. There might be a route round the angles from pink to red, but it's a really difficult shot. You know, it could be to put the brown on the left cushion and play the snooker on the last red. Has to be the shot, I feel, even for someone who pots as well as he does.
Yeah, he sort of talked himself down off the cliff there, didn't he? He didn't want to do that, but it's the sensible shot to play. He's trying to find a route back to his seat through the melee there. But in control of the frame, 25 in front.
Yeah, I mean, he's completely in control of it now, isn't he? He's winnable for Jiahui, but he's got to negotiate this first.
Well, that was effectively frame ball, really, because he would have been on that ping. So, still in with a chance here, Jiahui. It's been the most competitive frame so far. And it's not over yet.
Just a minute, unless I saw that wrongly, I thought he could cut that in, that red. He went for a double. It looked a bit reckless, didn't it? The speed he played it at as well.
Yeah, I think he had an eye as well on bringing the brown out, but red was nowhere near going in.
It is a competitive frame, as Dave said, although it's a bit of a scrappy old frame as well, has to be said. And I suppose if you use a 2-0 up playing well, you don't mind how you win them. Might be able to sneak the cue ball in behind the brown here, might be what he's aiming for. Don't think he's quite got there. Can he get to the potting angle? If he can, it's really difficult, but we've seen what he can do on these sort of shots. Got really close to it. Yes, I mean, it's not quite just a red ball frame, but Jiahui might think that he can clear if the chance ever comes his way. The ground's a little safe, but tables are not playing all that tight, and the clearance would certainly be on. Goodness me, that's lucky, isn't it? He looked away in disgust that he'd left it, and then the red one on the cushion, and even worse, somehow he finished behind the brown unplanned. Well, he's suffering a bit there, isn't he, those last two shots? He was unlucky to be snookered, and then on the escape to leave the red on. Things could have been very different to that. And the drama continues. Surely he's not fluked another snooker, is he? I think he's almost frightened to look over at his opponent. Can he get through the gap? Well, there appears to be a way through.
Well, 28-minute frame here. Gone very scrappy. It's not, I don't think you could say it's a must-win frame for Jiahui, but it would be pretty demoralising, I think, to lose it, because Yize has struggled himself, and then 3-0. It's a long way back, really.
I wonder if he can use the green and blue as a target to aim the cue ball behind here. Could put him in a strong position if he can play that shot. Might not be how he played it, but I think it is still a snooker. No excuses this time, it's a chance. Yes, he'd like to split up the green and blue here to ensure that they both are potable if he clears. Seemingly the only real stumbling block, those two balls close together. Yes, he took the risk, calculated risk to play the nudge. It seemed unlikely that in playing that cannon he wouldn't finish on one, and of course he has. You'd expect him to clear up here, but of course he's been under a little bit of pressure in this match so far, yet to win a frame. That was not a nice contact. Very tinny. Keel did not come back how he thought it would, so green to brown is, well, nowhere near as easy as it should have been. Left-hand side on the cue ball, I think.
Nine. Jiahui.
Unbelievable. He played the green pretty well. It wasn't that difficult a shot on the brown. I think he's got the snooker, but that's a scant consolation, really.
Well, I'll revise what I said. I think it is a must-win frame now for Jiahui because he's just had the golden chance to do so.
Almost the old-fashioned way of playing that safety shot, up and down the spots down the middle. He's got to be so careful here, Jiahui, because it's just one pot that his opponent needs, and we know how he pots. And really, he could knock this in. Frame ball. Yeah, he's a very difficult player to keep out for long periods. Ask Sean Murphy, Mark Allen, Mark Selby about that. They all fell foul to him at the World Championships.
$20 points behind, 18 on then. One snooker successfully laid required. just on the top 16 position, that, you know, you can get back in, of course, but the problem is once you drop out, say he drops out and has to qualify for the UK Championship, Jiahui does so, he'll play a member of the top 16 round one. So suddenly the draws early on in tournaments get more difficult. Seen that with Stephen Maguire a couple of times. He's qualified for York, drawn Judd Trump round one. Also, without any disrespect intended to the qualifying venues, they're not like this. You don't have this atmosphere and this sort of sense of status.
Pink and black are not really in good positions for getting snookers. You might think, well, they look okay in the middle of the table, but actually it's easier when they're closer to a cushion sometimes. Just to land in behind it. Down the centre is not easy. Especially if there's only pink and black left. So he might be forced to pop this and try and get a speculative one on the last two balls. He needs the black somewhere other than where it is, quite honestly. It's been a bad frame to lose in the end, I think, on the assumption that he does end up losing it. Yize has given him a lot of chances.
Jiahui, 5.
Yeah, I mean, the black, you know, it's not in a great spot.
No, it just isn't, because it's so hard to just land up to that where it is without the help from a cushion somewhere. It's never easy on the pink and black at the best of times, but you need the balls to be somewhere in your favour. And even if you was to get one, it would be extremely hittable. The other thing, of course, should Yize get a chance to, he'll roll it in or over the pocket, and that would be end of frame. It's quite a good effort, this. Might be able to play a little swerve around the black right hand side. Again, it's a good effort, but you're seeing, I think, the difficulty laying a good snooker on the pink and black in this instance. He's just hoping not to go in off anywhere, or making sure he didn't go in off.
Yeah, he's given it a good go, Jiahui, but his chance was when he was in. He had a good chance to clear. Didn't take it. Missed the brown. So, a lengthy frame, scrappy frame, 23. So just to confirm, tomorrow Karen Wilson will play Mark Williams, Neil Robertson plays Jiahui Tong or Ding Junhui, Judd Trump plays John Higgins, and Sean Murphy plays the winner of this match. So it's a terrific lineup, whoever comes through.
One. Yize, 1.
Well, there's a bit of noise from the other side. It is the interval there. Jiahui Tong's gone 4-0 up on Ding. He's had 112 in frame 4. He won 2 frames on the black, though, so it's kind of closer than that scoreline suggests. But that is the scoreline, 4-0 to Jiahui Tong.
So a chance of some description. He's got to start to score, isn't he, Jiahui? Which of course he can do. You know, he's a big scorer when he's playing well, but so far today, not much. He's going to force it off 2 cushions. This has got to be hit very hard. Oh my goodness. It's a difficult shot, but I think sometimes it throws very wide when you hit it at that speed. The shot looked really badly played, but actually he wasn't all that far away from getting it right. Jiahui has to go close to the left corner, around 2 cushions into the bunch, but it didn't look great. won't be a free ball. The edge red from either side. Very hittable. The referee just having a sneaky look, but it's not one. Yize could attack the safety shot in behind the brown here. That could be his safety attempt. That's what he's tried. He's left a red, at least one. Certainly a red to middle. Getting out onto a colour, not simple here. Got to use topspin. Up close to the ball you're trying to pot.
One.
A very controlled pot on the blue, wasn't it? As if it was such an easy shot that he was playing, and yet it required a bit of skill.
7.
And now the plan, I think, would be to get these reds open, despite the fact there is a loose one if he wants to play on it. It might be that he is going to do that now. In fact, he's gone too far, perhaps, for the blue, for the split he was looking for. Pretty unusual way of playing it, into the bunch off of a red that you're potting, because he's going to now find a colour, but again, the way he pots, he wouldn't put it beyond him knocking the yellow in. What's he nominated here? I think pink goes, is it? Between the red and the blue to the middle. Quite lucky to be on that, I think.
Well, within a couple of shots, he's got a big favourite for 4-0.
Seems odd to say about someone who's world champion, doesn't it? But he's got so much potential as a player. And he's already at the top of the mountain on the fact that he is champion of the world. Not sure we've quite got to the bottom of him as a player, though, yet, the way he plays. Didn't mean to kiss the first red. He tried to play directly through onto the black.
Yeah, Yeah, the break was just unravelling a bit, wasn't it? And it has come to an end, although you still sort of fancied him for that. Well, if it's going to happen for Sergio Way, it's really got to start now at this visit, because it was looking like 4-0.
One.
I saw that replay and it kind of felt that it might be on its way to go in off the right jaw. By the time it got to the pocket, it was even further to the right. So whether it went in a straight line, I'm not certain. That pink. It's not a particularly good shot, that last one. I mean, he's got to lean across. He's got to be careful not to foul the green and the pink with his waistcoat. It's not simple. But he's played it pretty well. So, as Dave said, he really has to do something here. I know he said that in the last frame, but now things have to start to improve. He's a very dynamic player himself.
Yeah, and it was a good win over Pang Zhengzhou because he's a very stubborn character. He had the breaks there, a Sir of 76, 81. Wasn't a string of breaks, but he made a couple of telling contributions, 164.
Two. 23. Eight.
She's got to really focus now on getting the job done here. Still be in trouble at the infill, but it could have been a lot worse.
Thirty-six. 37.
I mean, it might not be the worst idea to play up onto the pink here, but only because it takes the problem of the green into his own pocket away. He can get the frame won anyway, but I mean, he wouldn't want to be leaving in Yize a one snooker required. He's playing on the black, fair enough.
45.
But of course, the only issue with that is being 32 in front of the green, 2 snookers. He might be able to put it anyway. Bottom line is, it appears he's won his first frame of the day.
Yeah, and Yize be happy enough, but the game's just slightly gone sort of down as the afternoon's gone on. He started really well first couple of frames. Third was scrappy, could have lost it. He was in this one, missed. So a little bit for him to think about as well.
I think if Yize could have had that pink again that is now left up on the top right side of the table. If he could have it again, I think he'd have punched it in at pace. But you don't get a second chance, I'm afraid.
Jiahui.
32 the lead, 25 on.
He's got to carry on, hasn't he? Because the table actually, in contrast to the previous frame, is conducive for getting snookers. I know he needs 2, he's got half a chance here.
Yeah, that should be that. So Jiahui has a foothold in this match, going to the interval. Sean Murphy waiting in the quarterfinals. Is it going to be a rematch of the World Final? Well, Yize still needs 3 frames to make that happen. So Jiahui didn't take advantage in frame 3, but he has won frame 4, and he's on the scoreboard. But it is the world champion, Yize, leading the match at the interval 3-1. 3 more frames required for him. So Jiahui won that 4th frame. And could have been 4-0 down. Yize was in early in that frame. 54 the break from Jiahui, so still potentially 7 frames to play here.
I'm not sure. I think you can possibly get to a thin red here to right corner. I think Yize didn't anticipate leaving that one from the shot he played.
What?
If he got his game together, this could be an absolutely terrific game. Because Jiahui has not played well, but it might not be that far away. He had a good win in the previous round against Pan Jin-soo.
Yellow ball.
Wow, huge shot to play.
Sorry.
And it wasn't very nice cueing, actually. It's quite awkward, but anyway, he's knocked it in.
Four.
He had a disappointing end to last season. After the World Grand Prix, which was in February, he didn't actually win another match.
7.
And I've already said he lost quite heavily to Hossein Bafai, first round at the Crucible.
too bad at all. Might have to just nudge the bunch of reds here. The angle he's got on the black is off straight, so into the bunch. Cue ball's disappeared, unfortunately. He's on a red, but he's not on it with prime position.
21.
Well, this is a real gutsy effort, isn't it, this break?
It's a really nice split. I do think that he's certainly on a red into the left corner, fairly acute angle. What is on another red? Don't know. He's just got to make sure he gets this. It'd be a pity if the break ended here. He's going to run it through, put a bit of pace into the cue ball. Couldn't get top side of the blue, so still striving for perfect position, but so far so good. Send the cue ball right around the angles again here. Good at that shot, isn't he? Puts a lot of topspin on. Surely not.
43.
Surely not. He must be on something, isn't he? Do you know, I don't think he is. Of all the places to finish. He was trying to convince himself that bottom right-hand red was potable with a lot of right-hand side, but I think he's now decided against it. He keeps coming back to it. But now he's going to play thin safety, so he's very disappointed there that the break ended when it did.
Jiahui, 43.
Pretty eventful break of 43, that.
Well, he showed great intent, didn't he? In the early yellow he took on. It was a good example of his sort of strategy now, I think, post-interval, to really attack.
Well, it was a seemingly all or nothing. I mean, he didn't really play it with a view to getting the cue ball back down. I think he may be still showing some frustration from what happened before. And all of a sudden, the chance he's left his opponent is somewhat easier than the one that he had to go through. The world champion here, what a chance to extend his lead. Even though he's behind, you'd say he's favoured in the frame. It's a good chance.
Six.
Yeah, I saw some footage that was on the BBC actually when he arrived back in China a couple of days after the World Championship, with a lot of people there clamouring for selfies and autographs.
7.
It's a wonderful story because, as we know, he had it tough when he was young. Him and his dad sharing one room in a flat. But last season earned just shy of $1 million, and he can guarantee there'll be plenty of endorsements that have come his way in the last couple of months.
14. 15. 22. 23.
Yeah, I mean, the red on the right is going to be the problem, but as a right-handed player with the pink where it is, you know, if you could get behind it, play the pink to the opposite middle, you feel that it's very much something he could negotiate and extend his lead from. Well, that is a big surprise. That really is.
With the
The first, he's missed a couple, but that was actually the first really bad shot I think he's played. Didn't see him miss many of those at Sheffield.
one. Seven.
So this match tightening up. He made a good start first couple of frames, but gone off the ball a little since then. So you'll need the two remaining reds here.
11.
Yeah, I mean, the angle on the black is not terrible, but it doesn't seem to be bringing him right in behind the red. I mean, he could send the cue ball up the middle of the table. The way he pots, you know, you wouldn't think he'd be missing it, but I don't think he can get very close to the red. Playing it with a lot of topspin. Well, he has got close to red, actually. It's quite good. Still got one more shot from there. He should get this, but still got to be knocked in.
19.
Off the jaw, but that doesn't matter.
24. 27. 31.
Best of 11s. They're quite long matches, and even though it was 3-0, a lot of frames still to play, and the next two have been won by Jiahui. You will have noticed just some mistakes creeping in to Yize's game. Just the usual way then of getting on the black. Yeah, enjoyed that, didn't he? And why not? He's back in this match. He's really struggling. Remember, he should have won the third frame.
A big double kiss, which has left a red on. I think that the biggest worry for the world champion was just the way that the last frame he missed quite a bad red to right corner when he appeared he was about to win it, or certainly in with a good chance of doing so. Not really the kind of shot you'd expect him to miss, the way he pots. And now it does look a bit of a different game. Jiahui looking more confident. To avoid hitting the red that's directly above the black. He doesn't want to hit it too hard, otherwise he will hit the red. That's the problem. He wanted to hit it harder, but then I think he'd have skidded straight into the first red. That'll annoy him.
8.
Been left with a very unpromising shot now.
Jiahui 8.
'There's another one gone astray, and again I think he's left the red on. It appears that he can get past the blue to it. So yeah, there's definitely a changing around, a shift in momentum in this match.
1.
I think it's worth remembering that it's really early in the season, and well, we don't know how he's going to get on as world champion, but I think it's safe to say Kyron Wilson had a pretty good year as champion, but he came here and lost 6-0 in the first match. But overall, he had a very good year as champion, so that was just one match.
Nine.
Well, it's a really good shot, but he's very unlucky if he's not on a ball there. I think the Reds have covered each other, so
16.
that could easily have worked out an awful lot better than it has.
Jiahui.
I think there you can see that he was suffering a bit from what was a pretty good shot.
Now, meanwhile, Ding Junhui, although he's up against it in the match, is on reds and blacks. Of course, we've already had Zhao Guodong's maximum yesterday, which is the 5th of the season. Ding has made 7 in his career.
Well, I always say the same thing here, but it's evident that the pink, of course, will never be on its own spot, or hardly ever, because it's not been potted all the way through the frame, and on this occasion it's in a bit of an awkward spot over on the left side. Not the kind of position that is impossible to overcome, of course, but not ideal either. I think from that roar we can gather the break is still going. That 147 attempt that we did briefly make you aware of.
Well, the hard work beginning for Ding. Let's hope we can stay on this now. Let's hope he can stay on it. Crowd willing in every ball. I always say, you know, okay, maximums have definitely become more common, but most people here today, I'm sure, will never have seen one live. So it would be a massive thing for them to see the great man, Ding Junhui, do it.
I agree, Dave. They're still special, and they're still extremely difficult to achieve. Oh, he doesn't like it. He doesn't like it. Now, how's he going to get? He's got a shot. He's got a shot at the red up into the green pocket, but that's not, of course, what he plans. So I wonder if he can. If this will bring the house down, should he get it? The crowd are behind him enough as it is.
Shame. He's won the frame, of course, with back-to-back centuries, but you can hear, well, if there was any doubt whether the sort of affection had gone from Ding and been completely transferred to the other Chinese players here, I think that tells you that's not the case. They still love him. They would love to have seen him make the maximum.
13.
Meanwhile, Yize now looking to refocus in this match and get going again. He did have a couple of 60 breaks to lead 2-0, although didn't kill those frames off at those visits. When he won the third frame, which was a half-hour slog, Jiahui missed the brown clearing up. He looked a very heavy favourite, but he's made a few errors just to help Jiahui back into this match, just open the door a little. So that's what he's trying to guard against now. Got to be said at the Crucible, and of course that's a long tournament, the World Championship. There were spells where he did lose his way, including in the final, but that afternoon session, the second day, he won those frames at the end, didn't he? The last three, when it looked like Murphy was taking control.
Yeah, and of course there was that pretty infamous session with Mark Allen where they only got through, I think, 6 frames. And I mean, it's hard to, you could write a book about that match actually, but the point where they had that very, very long frame,
25.
which he ended up winning, where the reds all surrounded the black. You know, he picked a frame up there and pulled it out of the wreckage of a terrible session.
One. 32.
That's a good shot. That's, he had a big area to land in, but I think he's come absolutely perfectly behind this red.
35. 36.
This is much better for Yize. Maybe Jiahui coming back has just
43.
sort of forced him to refocus. Felt that was a kick.
I think there's been a couple of those earlier on. Jiahui had one in that, well, I think he eventually lost a frame, trying to clear up to win frame 3. Got a contact that sounded not quite right.
84.
That was one as well. Don't see that many of those these days. Technology has changed. But he's shrugging off that previous frame where he missed a bad red. Chance to win this frame and get 2 up again.
51. 52. 59. 60.
So this red for the frame. This has been his best contribution so far. No faltering.
58.
Yeah, got to wait. Got to wait for the pink to go on its spot.
74. 75.
We'll see. Everyone's different, aren't they? Luca Brissell, I think, didn't kind of like the extra attention when he was world champion. Karen Wilson, on the other hand, seemed to revel in it. But you're going to get it, and you should do, because you've reached the top by winning the most prized tournament in the sport. And there's always something special about a new champion as well. And of course, we've had now 4 in a row. Yeah, this time the referee's got to get the pink out.
Yeah, I mean, 4 new champions of the world in a row is quite something. You know, after a period of certain players pretty dominant in the game, it's kind of opened everything up, hasn't it?
Well, he made 65 centuries last season. This would be his first of the new campaign. And is indeed the 147th special number of his career. Excellent that. He sort of gone missing, hadn't he, for a couple of frames. He was struggling. Jiahui 4-2 down now to Yize, who's just made his first century of the campaign. The Xingtong Ding match, there's actually been 4 centuries in a row there. 2 from Xingtong, 2 from Ding. I mean, we've heard a lot of noise. In fairness, it's almost like an exhibition's going on, but it kind of has been a bit of an exhibition there.
Well, if he's on the black, it was a great shot, but a pretty good outcome as well. But she couldn't have had any real control over, let's be honest. But here we are with a pretty wonderful chance, it has to be said. The balls could barely be placed any better. And no reason why he shouldn't stay on reds and blacks for the foreseeable.
16.
Well, he could really make a lot here. I mean, the chances of him going up for low-value colours, he'd have to break down in position quite markedly.
24. 25. Two. 33.
Well, I mean, he could
Okay.
he could actually play up on the blue here, but he doesn't have to do that. It depends how he feels. He might have been thinking he might as well stay on reds and blacks. We saw a 147 yesterday, and the break's only 40, let's be honest, so he shouldn't have to be thinking along those lines. Might be an opportunity to play on a blue. Clear his mind,
21.
get the frame one, and take him to within the frame of getting the match over. But I have to say, when he arrived at the table, it appeared that he could make a 147 break.
Well, you can hear the noise from the other table. It has finished there, and Zhao Xintong's made another century, 101, to beat Ding 6-2. So he will play Neil Robertson. 5 centuries in the last 5 frames between the two of them. Great entertainment for the crowd.
I have to say, from what I saw of that match, and we saw some of the frames, of course, peeking over, but Zhao Xintong was pretty magnificent, I think, for the most part of it. Played really well.
62.
And Will Yize stepped it up, hasn't he? Last 2 frames here. Still needs one more red after this black for 5-2. But he's making his move now. Well, it's going to have to be this red to the yellow bag.
78.
Yeah, the frame is secured anyway by the looks of things, barring a number of snookers.
And there was a lot of breathing in there, apart from anything else, because the ball's under his waistcoat. Didn't make any difference.
I have to say, you do have to wonder quite where snooker could be taken, what levels the game could be taken to over the next few years. We've just seen 5 centuries in a row, 3 of which were from the world champion last year, Jiao Xintong. He won all of the events before the World Championships. The last 3, and then Wu Yize is now world champion. Chang Bingyu emerging as an absolute threat. You know, are we going to see the game taken to new levels? That's a beautiful little cannon. I mean, it could have gone wrong and he could have pushed one red in front of the other, but that wasn't the case. So he can make a break of 141 here, which it's been overshadowed by a maximum already this week, but it would still be some break. The opening red was a brilliant long red.
Well, it's back-to-back centuries for Wu Yize. At 3-2, you know, he was just struggling a little bit. You felt there was a way back for Jiahui, but the door was not quite slammed on him, but The gap is narrowing, put it that way, for him to get back into this now.
107.
Yeah, taking the pink 140 is the break that he can achieve.
Well, it's been a pretty dizzying sort of half an hour, hasn't it? On both tables, just centuries raining down on this
107.
arena.
$115. 118. 122.
It's magnificent, isn't it, to watch the way he strikes the ball, the long, sort of almost pendulum-like backswing, and the way he gets through the ball. Quite beautiful to watch.
133.
It's going to be a very interesting season for him. Still got this match to win, but what a break this is. 140 coming up.
133.
Yeah, I mean, the Reds, he got into the open right from the off, didn't he? And they were there for the taking, but they've still got to be potted. He has done. A 140 from the world champion, Yize, who's one away from victory now.
Yize to break.
Can Yize complete the job then? On the evidence of the last two frames, it seems quite likely now. 5-2, back-to-back tons, a 140 there in frame 7. One frame away from renewing his acquaintance with Shaun Murphy, who he beat in the world final 3 months ago. Worth saying as well, and they're not playing each other yet, but Shaun Murphy spoke so well at the end of the final. He must have been absolutely gutted, but he said all the right things. Every credit to him.
Well, there's a containing shot, but has he not left a thin cut here on this red? I suspect it might be cuttable. Yeah, I mean, it looks very thin on that, but it might just be possible. Yize certainly has had a look at it, but now he decides that there are other options.